Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my stepdaughter to move into my daughter's bedroom? I, female, have two children, a daughter that is 16 and a son that is 10. My husband has three children, a daughter that is 16, a daughter that is 14, and also a son that is 10. The boys share a room. The two stepdaughters, the younger children, share a room. And my daughter has her own room. Remember, my daughter is 16. For context, this is my home. My daughter's room has been her room since she was little. So this is the familial home for me and my children. The situation is my stepdaughter fights a lot, and it's exhausting. Their dad has never really been able to do anything to fix it because he says he was never able to figure out what the problem is with his daughter and why she fights a lot. My oldest stepdaughter takes her sister's stuff and ruins it and never returns it. Their dad and I would try to pay for the stuff that's been stolen, but that doesn't guarantee that they won't still fight. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into this situation. This is a very difficult conundrum that you are in as a family. Obviously, your stepdaughter has some childhood trauma, something that she's been dealing with that has yet to be resolved. Clearly, the father has some issues with addressing his daughter, and it's going to cause a problem long term in your home. It's not going to be resolved by you trying to buy the property that's been stolen and replace it, because it's going to cause a financial strain on you and your family. Now, I don't know your financial situation, but to simply go and replace the property instead of resolving the problem is a temporary fix. It's a band-aid, and it's definitely not going to fix the issue long term. My daughter has had her own share of having her stuff taken from her stepsister in the past. I fixed it by getting her a lock, to which my husband did not agree because his younger daughter also then wanted a lock for her bedroom. But that wouldn't have worked because she shares the room with her sister. The younger daughter, she doesn't understand what's going on, so therefore, she just thinks she wants a lock, okay? There's ways to work around that. Children like to do things that their bigger siblings do, and definitely that was not a big issue. The bigger question is, how do we resolve, one, the older daughter fighting her stepsister, and two, her taking property that does not belong to her? If she's doing that in the home, our friends should think about what's going on outside of the home. So we're going to need to address that particular situation, but let's carry on. After a series of big fights between stepdaughters, my husband said the only solution was to get them away from each other by having his daughter, the older daughter, move into my daughter's room. Now, I basically said no. This is my daughter's room. She's been living in this room since she was young. It is her room, and I don't feel comfortable with moving my daughter out and moving the older daughter into her room. That is a safe space for her. It's her room, and that's also not a resolution to this issue, which is very complex. Further, I also said no for additional reasons. One, my stepdaughter is basically a thief. She'll start stealing from my daughter. And two, this is my daughter's room. Even if he argues that it isn't fair that his daughters are stuck in one room while my daughter gets a room for herself. He begged and said he felt like the fighting was never going to end and that this was the only solution. I suggested that he should mix the boys with the girls, but he said, hell no. Boys never share rooms with girls, period. I said I wasn't going to allow what he suggested, and we ended up fighting. He called me selfish and unsupportive because I said he needs to handle his own children. He said he'd go stay with a friend because he could no longer handle the fighting. He said he won't come back until I agree to let his older daughter move in with my daughter. I lashed out at him and said, no way. He asked if this was a hill I'm willing to die on. I said yes, which escalated the problem. Now he's been away for 2 days, and I'm left to watch my stepdaughters yell at each other. He's using this as a way to hopefully get me to cave in and say yes. But I can't imagine doing this to my daughter. Update. There is an update. To address a question that has shown up continually in the comments, where is the girl's mother? She left 2 years ago with her foreign husband. So she is not in the girl's life on a day-to-day basis. She talks to the girls via social media and video calls, but does not play a major role in their life. She doesn't seem to care as long as they're being taken care of. She thinks the fighting and the stealing are no big deal. This entire situation is very concerning to me. One, the daughter has something that she is traumatized about. Could it be her acting out because her mother is not there? She could be struggling with that fact. She needs to be taken to therapy immediately. Neither you nor your husband are equipped properly to help the daughter. You and your husband also need therapy because you and your husband are not coming together with a proper game plan to resolve these issues. Buying and replacing items that his daughter has taken is not the answer for this situation at all, because essentially the daughter is able to steal, destroy property, get away with it. You guys go and replace it, but that's not fixing the problem. But let's see what Reddit has to say about this. You are not the a-hole. Your daughter's room is her safe space, and you shouldn't have to force her to share it with someone who steals and causes drama. Your husband needs to handle his daughter's behavior, not push the problem onto your child. That is a big issue for me. Instead of him parenting, he is trying to make his daughter's issue your daughter's issue. And these are now your bonus children. You chose to marry their dad, which you probably should have thought long and hard before you said yes. Is it fair to remove your daughter from her room? Absolutely not. I'm not suggesting that at all. However, these are still your children. So you guys have to handle this situation as two parents that are concerned about the health of your household. I bet he married OP for the house and always intended to take over the bedrooms for his kids. OP's children deserve better than stepfather moving his thieving, fighting daughters in it. He will never stop demanding his daughters get what they want. And that's very unfortunate. It's always difficult to merge households and make it work, especially when you have problematic issues to resolve. These things should have been taken care of ahead of time. I'm not considering you the a-hole. I do feel like you jumped the gun marrying this man. He seems very immature. He's leaving his children up to you and not playing a role in the way they're being parented properly. He's causing you additional money to replace your daughter's property. And not only that, because of his daughter, your daughter probably needs therapy too. You are not the a-hole.